You are watching Shaw Arts and Entertainment. He's your host, Curtis Anderson. I'm temporary host Simon Hyatt, talking to Curtis Anderson because it is the Food Bank Challenge. Continuing on our coverage of that, our good friend Curtis Anderson staying strong, unlike some of the other participants. I can't judge, though. A few people have dropped out, you were saying. I mean, I can only imagine how difficult this is. A couple people have dropped out, you were saying, but you're staying strong. As we're recording this Monday morning, first of all, how was the weekend?
I don't know if I'd classify myself as staying strong. I'm coping. Yeah, we had a lot of people drop out over the weekend. I can't blame them. You know me. Usually I've got this crazy competitive thing, but this has been really hard on me because it's a contest, but it's not really a contest. There's no goal. You're just supposed to survive it. So I can't pass judgment or take any sort of good feeling out of the fact that people have dropped out, because that's all I think about is dropping out. That's all I've thought about since the first day. Sorry, what was your question?
No, that was good. I think you answered it in there.
It's been tough, Simon. It's been tough.
I can believe it, but one of the first things you said to me this morning when I saw you was, the good thing is you can see the finish line, and is that what's kind of keeping you going at this point?
Yeah, and that actually makes me feel guilty. That's what I was blogging about, because obviously people living in poverty don't have that finish line. So I've got that little bit of extra adrenaline because I could see that Tuesday at supper time, this is all over. I can go, eat a steak or go to my favorite restaurant if I choose to and celebrate the fact that I make it. But most people don't get that. So I mean, this is endless for them. So I feel a little guilty that my mind's kind of out of it a little bit compared to the first few days, because again, I mean, I could honestly probably not eat from now till then just because I've got that goal.
Right.
Life goes back to normal on Tuesday. So yeah, I don't know if I answered your next question. I'm a mess, Simon. Seriously, like I have the attention span of a toddler. Like it's been pretty bad. Malnutrition and not eating properly is the absolute worst thing I've ever done.
Yeah, so you've seen a noticeable effect on sort of all facets of your life, messing up your thought processes or just energy. I guess that's the obvious one.
Yeah, I've been terrible at my job. I've been a terrible father. I've been a terrible husband. I've been a terrible son. People are just kind of avoiding me, and I can't blame them. Like I'm a mess. You just kind of trudge forward and hope you don't screw stuff up beyond repair. To be honest, it's been pretty brutal. I'm not gonna lie. This is the hardest thing I've ever done, and I've taken part in a lot of challenges. But as I've said on the blog every day, I was, I'm the physical guy, right? I've starved myself before. I've taken on all these physical challenges, but I wasn't prepared for the mental toll not eating properly and still trying to do what you do every day takes on you. Like it's almost impossible to keep functioning at the normal level with no food and bad food and tasteless food.
Sure, absolutely. Just about a week or so ago, exactly a week or so ago, we were having lunch together. It was you and me and a few of our coworkers here at Shaw, and you were kind of trying to wrap your head around this whole thing.
Yeah.
Where you were going, what it was going to be like, and you were, I don't want to say, you weren't confused by it, but you were just trying to kind of, I guess, get a grasp on what the whole thing was going to be like and what the end goal was. Now that you're almost a week later, have you arrived at a point where do you kind of have an understanding of it, or what are your thoughts, I guess, after a week of doing this?
Yeah, like I mentioned at the top of the interview, usually there's, I have an antagonist, I have someone I want to beat, or, I have some sort of motivation, and, even when I lost all that weight 10 years ago, I'd exercise and really watch my diet for 2.5 days, and I'd have one good meal. And that's kind of what kept me going. I had all these tiny little, focal points, these little things, these treats I could get to every few days, but there's none of them when you're living like this. So no, I'm still really kind of confused by what we're all supposed to take away from this, other than it's been a horrible week, and my heart breaks for people who live like this endlessly, because there's no sunlight. It's brutal. So. Yeah, I don't know. Again, people have been dropping out left, right, and center. I can't blame them. I'm going to, I saved a lot of my non-perishable food till the end. So again, my mind's kind of checked out of it already, because I'm going to be okay for the next 2 days. I've got enough food to make it. But yeah, most people don't have that finish line. So I don't know what the answer is.
Well, I guess hopefully one thing that's come out of it, certainly this has raised a lot of attention.
Yes.
Lots of people are talking about it. The radio station has been talking about it. I know Jeremy from the Star Phoenix wrote a great article I read a couple of days ago. if nothing else, it's certainly shining that light on the issue of poverty and getting people talking about it and thinking about it, and in your case and in the case of others, actually experiencing it for a week.
Yeah, the blogs are getting thousands of hits a day, which is awesome. Everybody's talking about it. Tomorrow night there's the wrap. I'm not even going to try to memorize this. It's 168 Wall Street, the Indian and Métis Friendship Center. So 7 o'clock, all the participants, the people that made it, the people that dropped out, we're all going to be there answering questions and talking about our experience. And yeah, the big question right now is, what are we going to do now after it's over? Everybody's scared it's just going to go back to you know, the way things were, and we're just going to be so happy to eat again and be normal contributing members to society, and you know, this is all going to go away. So that's on everybody's radar right now, is what the next step is now that we have all this information.
All right. Maybe just lastly, I want to ask you a little bit about one of the things that had the biggest impact for me in just watching you go through this experience was your description of what it was like trying to explain this to your young son Noah, who just talk about not really being able to understand it. I mean, can you just sort of explain what that was like?
Yeah, we have we sponsor a child, and having this conversation with him about why I'm doing this, I think it was he was wrapping his head around that this child we sponsor isn't the only hungry kid in the world, and I think it was kind of overwhelming for him at first. But he's been championing me. You know, he can tell Dad's not really listening half the time because, again, I have no attention span, and Dad doesn't have the energy to play like he usually does. So, but again, and I feel bad, but I keep reminding him that Tuesday this all goes away, and again, that just breaks my heart because so many people who live like this, it doesn't go away on Tuesday. So I just I don't know how people function on this amount of food and this quality of food, because you can't do anything.
Challenge ends on Tuesday, the big event Tuesday night at the Indian and Métis Friendship Center, 168 Wall Street. I too am cheating off that. I don't even have an excuse. So the challenge does come to an end, but of course the problem will remain. But I genuinely think that you folks have hopefully made a difference, and hopefully at least get people talking about it and thinking about the problem. So I think that's worthy of congratulations.
Hey, yeah, come out tomorrow night and just show your support to this whole initiative, and hopefully we'll come up with something when this is all said and done and over, and bring about some change. I don't know if it's going to be huge or small, but change nonetheless.
Getting people talking, that's always a good step. Thanks, Curtis.
Yay, tomorrow night.